morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from 1880 down in South Dakota. Today's verse is 1 Peter chapter 1 verses 1 and 2. Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to those who reside as aliens scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia, who are chosen according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, by the sanctifying work of the Spirit, to obey Jesus Christ and be sprinkled with his blood. May grace and peace be yours in the fullest measure. Well, this is a surprise. We're starting a new book, and I'm wanting to tackle the entire book of 1 Peter for this next year or so, however long this takes. And I wanted to spend most of today's video explaining mostly why I chose this. And then there's another issue we'll talk about towards the end. But I wanted to see what Peter is writing now later in life. I think Peter is such an amazing apostle, has gone through some of the biggest ups and the biggest downs. He infamously denied the Lord during the whole crucifixion scene, and that was probably his biggest defeat or his biggest fall. But then he had some of the greatest triumphs, such as his famous confession, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of God." And that was great. Jesus said, wow, that didn't come from you. The Spirit gave you that to say, and that's wonderful. But of course, just another verse or two later, Peter puts his foot in his mouth again. This is typical of Peter. He'll have these great highs, and then he'll blow it and go back down again and everything else. My personal favorite story about Peter is the story of Jesus walking on the water, and everybody's freaking out. Oh my gosh, it's a ghost. And Jesus says, hey, chill out, it's just me. And Peter, none of the other disciples said this, but Peter said, if it is you, he says the word, command me to come to you. Command me. That shows that Peter got that Jesus was God, because only God can speak things into existence and make impossible things happen. This couldn't come from Peter out of his own human potential. No way. Only the miracle of God can make that. And Peter is basically saying, I know you are God, please command me. But it's even more than that. Peter doesn't say, command me to walk on the water. Peter says, command me to come to you. And I think that is so amazing. Peter just wants to get closer to the Lord he loves. And if it takes the Lord's efforts and the Lord's command to do it, that's wonderful. Of course, then after Jesus resurrects, Peter has a wonderful sermon in Acts chapter 2. And then in Acts chapter, it's either 3 or 4, I forget, there's lifting up the lame man to walk, and other miracles, other wonderful things. But then later in the book of Acts, he has a big dispute with Paul about keeping the Jewish traditions. It seems like it's taken me a very long time to learn the lessons of love, maybe 40 years perhaps of Christianity, before I really finally saw, oh, it's all about love. And so this is why I want to look at Peter and see what does he say now later in life after he's learned the lessons of love. Finally, with my last minute, it says those who are chosen according to the foreknowledge of God. And this asks the question, well, is it our will to follow him? Do we choose to follow him, or does he pick us somehow? I'm going to say very briefly that it is both. We do get to choose him, and it's fully our choice and our will to follow him with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. But because he's God, he knows all things in advance. He knows who is going to choose to follow him. And therefore, with that foreknowledge, he chooses us. So yes, it's our choice, but then because he knows our choice, he chooses us. So with that in mind, let's choose to love every moment, because then we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a great week.